My name is Joel Junt. I'm the Secretary of South Dakota Department of Transportation. I want to thank you and welcome you all to our groundbreaking event here for 85th Street. I've got a few messages that I want to provide, but I want to at least acknowledge some of the dignitaries that we have here with us today. And some of these folks will be speaking with us here. So Senator Thune, he will kick this thing off when I'm done here. Mayor Tenhaken will also be speaking later on. Casey Volker, who is the mayor of T. And then we also have Joel Dystruck, who is with the owners group. And then Chairman Kent Cutler, who's with Sioux Falls Development Foundation Board. Those will be our speakers today, but again, I've got a few other folks in the crowd here. I saw Senator Ernie Otten. I'm going to remind you. Senator, there he's in the back. Raise your hands, please. We have Lincoln County Jim Schmidt. He's also going to be speaking here today.
Did you just see that now?
These notes were not in order, so I'm improvising, Jim. I'm improvising. Give me a break. Lincoln County Commissioner Betty Otten is also with us. She's way, way in the back. And then we have Keith Moore, who I believe is here representing Rounds, Senator Rounds.
Actually, Keith sends his regrets to me instead. But I'm
Chad. Yes, thanks, Chad. And then Chelsea Scholl representing Dusty Johnson. Thanks for being here. And I've got a couple of transportation commissioners here. Larry Nelson, did he make it in? Yep, he's way in the back. You guys like church, you're all in the back. And then Mike Valley, well, I saw him earlier here today too. And then I just wanted to introduce a couple of my senior management employees here. Mike Beams, my Director of Planning and Engineering, way in the back. Craig Smith, my Director of Operations, and then the other side of the back. And then Travis Dressen is our Mitchell Region Engineer here. Yeah, everybody's in the back. All right. So again, thank you for all being here. This is definitely a very important project that's been in the works for quite some time. And we've had some ups and downs, but we are now here. We have let the project to T&R, so that's a wonderful thing. I think it's overall with the city of T, the city of Sioux Falls, Lincoln County, and the users group, this is something that's been in the making for quite some time, and we're so happy to see this thing is now let and ready to go. I want to just talk a little bit about some of the milestones and project history relative to this, and then I'll have these folks come up and provide and share some of their information. So the project is a new diverging diamond here on 85th Street and 29. It will include not only putting a structure in there, but also grading, curb and gutter, storm sewer, roadway lighting, traffic signals, permanent signing, and pavement marking. As far as traffic impact, the interstate will be maintained but reduced to one lane when we're physically building the bridges on 29. We will have access, and it will be maintained on 85th Street for all the businesses, and those will also go on to Sundowner Avenue and Tallgrass Avenue. The project timeline, it was let, and the commissioners approved that, and T&R, as I stated earlier, was the contractor who will be building this project. They have already started, and it will begin with the 1 mile of reconstruction on 85th Street, or actually new construction on 85th Street. And we are planned to have this project done in November of 27. So again, a lot of work to get done, but we're very confident with the contractor that we have on place. I know you're familiar with diverging diamonds. This is actually our 5th diverging diamond that we have built. The first one was in Rapid City. I know Shannon hates when I say that, but Rapid City got their first one. Then they built one on 41st Street, and then Benson Avenue. We just did the ribbon cutting on Brandon Interchange, and now this will be our 5th one. The project will include pedestrian paths, just very similar to what we have on 41st Street, and I know those users are very happy with how that turned out. We will be able to monitor, you'll be able to monitor the construction. We'll have cameras up, and you can see the progress as it goes throughout the years. And then, as you know, DDIs are one of the tools in our toolbox. It's really been a great asset for us. The overall projects that we've done to date has really reduced the number of crashes that we've seen both at La Crosse Street and 41st Street, up to 50 to 75% of those two interchanges. So a wonderful asset, and we're looking forward to building more of these. The future traffic volumes on 85th Street at the interchange is projected to be about 30,000 vehicles a day. And again, it will improve the mobility of the pedestrians and the bicyclists. The interchange is also going to help all the adjacent interchanges that we have from a traffic operation, so looking forward to those improvements as well. And then finally, this interchange will improve mobility and connectivity while achieving the planned economic growth to help the developments, all consistent with the Sioux Falls Comprehensive Plan, the Sioux Falls MPO 2050 Metropolitan Transportation Plan, the T-Transportation Plan, and the Lincoln County Master Transportation Plan. So again, as I mentioned, T&R is the contractor who will be building it. I again appreciate the cities and the county, Federal Highway, and the 85th Street Property Owners Group, and the Sioux Falls Metropolitan Planning Organization that have been a big part of this project and get it to the point where it is now. It truly has been a true public-private partnership with all of those that have engaged in helping us with this. I want to especially thank Senator Thune, part of this funding for this project, and all of us that I mentioned earlier are providing funding for this, but he was able to also get us a $30 million congressional directed spending, CDS is what I call them for short, and that really has helped us to be able to fund this project when it's all said and done with. So the overall project is $54.4 million. So with that, I am going to turn it over to Senator Thune and let him share some of the remarks that he has for us on this. Senator Thune.
Thank you. Thank you, and good afternoon, Mr. Secretary, Mayor, Commish, Kent, Joel, all of you. Great to be with you all today. It is a day to celebrate, and believe it or not, Joel and I worked together back at the Department of Transportation over 30 years ago. I'm a big believer in transportation, have been my entire life, and when you grow up in Murdo, it kind of comes with the territory. I remember when they were building the interstate highway, I was probably a 5th or a 6th grader. My older brother in the summer would work on he was working on the projects for the DOT, and prior to that, before 90 went across South Dakota, it was Highway 16. And as they built west, there was a stretch there between, Presho, Vivian, Murdo, that had accidents. They used to call it Death Valley. And of course, the interstate came along, transformed travel across our state, made it an attractive way to get to and from the Black Hills and Yellowstone and points beyond for people who are traveling for tourism purposes, and obviously freight transportation and manufacturing, the economy, agriculture. We are a farm-to-market transportation system and the interstate highway system, and you got to give the folks who came up with this back in the 1950s great credit for the vision that they displayed at the time, because transportation projects do transform communities, and in this case, our state. And so I'm grateful for the collaboration that occurred with this between the local, state, and federal governments. Grateful to be a champion for this project. The 85th Street interchange, you can already see, you look across the interstate, and the new OI facility out there was built in anticipation of this interchange. And you will see so much more economic development that comes with it. The economic activity pays huge dividends in the long run. And this is a growing, dynamic area. My wife and I have lived in the same house on the west side of Sioux Falls now for 27 years and have watched as this thing has just kind of exploded in every direction. But it's a great credit to the visionary leadership of our local community, mayor and others who have seen fit to support these types of projects. And I'm delighted we were a part and championed the diverging diamond over at Brandon. That was, I think, the ribbon cutting was earlier today. And so it's exciting to see these kinds of projects and the difference they can make. Infrastructure matters. And going back to my days working with Joel at the state DOT, and then ultimately I chaired for 4 years in the Senate the Commerce, Science, and Transportation Committee, but worked through several highway bills, iterations of highway bills and infrastructure projects all across South Dakota, both west, east, and then north and south. There are projects all across our state that I've been involved with through the years because I'm such a profound believer in how transportation and infrastructure impacts not only the safe and efficient movement of goods and services and people, but also just the economic impact that it brings to communities all along the way. So these are exciting projects. And again, grateful for everybody who has had the vision to see what this could mean, and it will mean a lot to these communities, to Sioux Falls and to T and the counties that are impacted by this. But and we're going to continue to look for other opportunities where we can make strategic investments that will transform the way that we do business in our communities, in our state, and also add to that level of safety. The diverging diamond, as Joel points out, has been an incredibly transformative project as far as the safety that it adds and that component of every one of these investments. And we were out there at the Rapid City one, and now the multiple in 41st Street, which is the one I use every day, going to and from places. And so it's an exciting time to be a part of South Dakota, be a part of this community, and to see all of you here today is wonderful. I think it speaks to the importance of this project and projects like it all across our state. So thank you for the opportunity to be with you today, and we wish you a happy Thanksgiving. So I'll hand it off. Is the mayor next, or do you want? Go for it. The distinguished mayor, Paul Tenhaken. Good
job. We should give it up for Senator Thune. He's had a rough couple months, and to say the least, and he got us through a hard time. So give this guy a round of applause. Yeah. I'm glad you're here. Man, I never thought we were going to get this done. Shannon, did you ever think we were going to get this done? When I campaigned as mayor, I campaigned about this project, like we're going to get this project done, and not realizing how complicated this was. And I never knew what a FONSI was, finding of no significant impact, and I learned all these federal terms that we had to work through. And but only in Sioux Falls do we get this many people that show up for an interchange groundbreaking. Like, this is pretty great. Like, look at this. This is cool. But you know, there's about 1,000 acres in this area that are going to benefit from this interchange. And you know, this metro, this MSA, you know, in the next 25 years, we're going to be 470 to 500,000 people in this MSA, and we are really growing fast to the south and to the west here, and soon we'll be annexing T into Sioux Falls, and it's just not going to stop, Casey. So, but in all seriousness, though, the projects like this are so important for traffic flow, for accessibility to getting around a community. The thing you hear about most as a mayor is traffic, how you get around a community, and they say that, you know, your report card as a mayor is the roads, and people drive on your report card every day. And this is going to open up a whole new area for economic development, for people who are West Siders to get across town, not only with this, but also with Highway 100 and Veterans Parkway and the work that's been done there. And so your next mayor, if there is not a P.F. Chang's, a Cheesecake Factory, and a Trader Joe's here, they are not doing their job, all right? So you hold them accountable to that, because I would have got that done, okay? But you know, there are some people that the mayors just get credit for this, but we don't really have a lot to do with it. The people who get it done are the city staff who work their butts off. And first and foremost, I got to thank Mark Cotter. Where's Mark at? Mark, yeah. Mark has worked tirelessly on this project, along with, and I mentioned already, Shannon Austin. If you have had a good commute in Sioux Falls, you can thank Shannon. If it's bad, you talk to Mark. But if it's been good, Shannon has had a lot to do with this. And then Andy Berg, our city engineer, has been a real critical part of this project too. Andy's way in the back, but he's been a big part as well. And then a big part of projects like this are right-of-way acquisition. We got to acquire a lot of land. And, you know, when people hear that the government's in charge of a project, they put another zero behind their land, and so they can get expensive quickly. And so working on these projects and land acquisition and putting everything together and working with landowners who actually came to the table and in a lot of cases didn't make a lot of money on these acquisitions. They did it because it's the right thing for the community, was really incredible. And they had to work with people like Matt Anderson, Roy Fletcher, Aaron Fagerness, Mike Heidberger, Kevin Smith, Amanda Engel, and Cheryl Bogue, was last two people in our legal team to bring all this together. So it's always the people behind the scenes, the city team, that does all the heavy lifting behind this stuff. So, but there's one guy I want to specifically give a shout out to before I pass the mic over, and that's Jim Schmidt. Okay, so Jim has been a county commissioner for 130 years. But really, he's been a commissioner since before Y2K, 1999. So 26 years, almost 27 years he's been a commissioner, and he was really the driving force behind Lincoln County's support of this project. He's the fifth longest serving commissioner in our state, and the second longest serving county commissioner ever in Lincoln County. And he has been an incredible advocate for this work and for this project. And these are messy projects, man, and they're political, and they take fights. And I see Tiffany here, and you've been involved in this for a while as well. And so I want to present Jim with a challenge coin from the city, just for all the time and effort you put into this, man. I knew it was a lot. He had jet black hair when this started, and now look at the guy. But Jim, thanks for all you've done. You've been a great partner of the city. Lincoln County is just an incredible ally to the city of Sioux Falls. So I appreciate you, man. Challenge coin.
Thank you, Mayor, and again, thank you, Senator Thune. You have been a blessing to this state and all the things that you do for us, especially looking for a new surface transportation bill coming up here in September of 26. So bring that home. That would be great for us. Yes. And again, with the partnership that we have with the city, it's truly been a partnership, and the relationship that we have with you and the counties and our local governments, it's just outstanding. And I thank my staff also for all of that opportunity that we work together and collaborate for the citizens of this state. So next is Mayor Volker. He's going to come up from City of T and provide us some remarks or thoughts.
Thank you. So, a lot of positivity in this room, a lot of people excited. Just want to bring a little rain to the parade. Just a quick boo to whoever lined me up to speak after Senator Thune and Mayor Tenhagen. Just you're off my Christmas card list. So, man, all right. Anyway, so projects like these are massive for any community, but for a town like T, they're just completely game-changing. Obviously a $54 million project, that's so out of reach for a city like us. So to all you troublemakers who come and drag us into this stuff, we appreciate it. Projects like this have a huge benefit, have a huge impact, just on small towns, right? We don't always have the resources to do a massive project like this. So, to have something like an 85th Street interchange come in and make it easier for people to get to work. A lot of people in T live in Sioux Falls, or if they live in T, they work in Sioux Falls. So making it easier to, get places to, go to work or come home without all the traffic, the congestion, without all the safety concerns. It's a really big benefit, to people in T who have, owned farm ground in this area for a long time to see that investment, pay off for them, for businesses that want to go in, new businesses that want to come to small towns like T. It's more than I can even describe. It's just, there's so many great benefits, and things like this are not something that towns like us can do by ourselves. We're a pretty small part overall, but it's all appreciated. Especially the people in city staff in Sioux Falls who took a lot of time to come out. talk us through things, to explain how things are going. You know, we don't always have the budget to hire these professionals that are so specialized in these things, so we appreciate it. Specific to T, I want to thank my council. So I see Ruby and I see Jim back there. You know, they talk about that the legislative branch has the power of the purse, right? So T couldn't participate in this without their approval, so I appreciate them getting on board with this and approving it. Justin at City Hall, obviously, he does all the work, and then I have to give the speech, and but I'm not sure who's got the better deal there. So appreciate everything you guys do, Kevin, for, you know, years and years and years of service and being involved in these projects. You know, I know you're not at the city anymore, but I mean, just the amount of work that you've done for all these, it blows me away. So anyway, thanks. I appreciate everything. Yeah.
Commissioner Schmidt's already been roasted, so I will not lay on that, but we met quite some time ago, and I don't know how many DOT secretaries you've probably gone through, but I know I'm your favorite. But anyway, he's going to come up, and it's been, again, a true partnership, and especially with the funding aspect of that, and the commission has been a blessing to help with that. But Jim, a few words with you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I would be remiss if I didn't introduce some of my colleagues. We have our auditor over here, Sherry Lund is there. Our chair, Tiffany Landine. I see our highway superintendent, Terry Fluitt. I see our administrator over there, Paul Anderson. And I know, Betty, you're in the back, and I don't know if I missed anybody. So it's my pleasure to represent the fastest growing county in the state of South Dakota, one of the top 9 in the nation, Senator. So I think Lincoln, and I always use this byline, is Lincoln County is where your future begins. So this is a historic event because counties live on growth. You know, I'd like to send that strong message to some of our legislators in Pierre. Counties live on growth. So when this opportunity came up for a county to invest in its future for the next 20, 30, 40 years to provide the growth that can go along with the tax structure, I thought it would be great, and my colleagues all voted, and we're happy to be a huge partner in this activity, in this interchange, because this is a game changer. As mentioned, for the city, for the cities of Harrisburg and T, school districts, everybody comes out a winner on this one. So I hope that in the legislature, I got to throw this out, leave our growth alone, because we need it and we use it, and we can also apply that even to tax reduction. And if you don't believe that, talk to the mayor of Harrisburg and he'll fill that in. You know, I want to thank Joel for all of his hard work and tolerance in helping with the many calls that I had, trying to figure out how we were going to finance our $13 million obligation to this thing. Jesse Falkert was not here, but I would give him a shout out because he came up with the idea of using a TIF district. So through all of that, we were able to come up with a financing program and be a willing partner to be along with the city, to be with the state and the feds to get this thing done. So I can say that's all. But I take a personal minute here, because I wish there was a guy who really was very instrumental in this. And maybe, Kent, you can elaborate as well. Many years ago, a young man named Craig Lloyd, you all remember that one? We were sitting in his office, we were talking about how in the world we could get an overpass over 29 because there wasn't one. And through that, we decided we can do this. And Mr. Berquist, the only other person I've ever worked with, and you are my favorite, Joel, I forgot, well, by far, you know. Anyway, we decided that we should try this. And I can't tell you how many trips that Craig made, myself, Kent, in an airplane or driving, and we met with our Governor Dugard. We met with the federal highway people. There's something else. And the state, to try to work through the plan of this thing. And that it's taken so long, but it was a lot of issues that were very frustrating. But Craig was an instrumental guy on this one. So, Pat, to your family, to all those things, Pat Lloyd deserves a special round of applause, please. Senator, you talk about a leader. That was one. So anyway, so it's been my pleasure to be here. It's a great deal. We're going to throw some dirt in the air, and we're going to make this thing happen. So, Joel, back to you.
A couple more speakers here for you today. Kent Culler, I don't know if we've met before, but I know you're a big instrumental to this part relative to getting this thing. You're with Sioux Falls Development Foundation Board, so if you would come up and just share a few words with us, I would appreciate that.
Sure. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. As Joel said, my name is Kent Cutler, and I'm here today in my role as the chairperson of the Sioux Falls Development Foundation. The Development Foundation is an economic development organization, along with our partners, excuse me, the Sioux Falls Chamber of Commerce and the Sioux Metro Growth Alliance are really excited to see this project moving forward after over a decade of work on it. And to Jim's point, I was fortunate enough to be one of the landowners and in the landowner group. And I think it was probably 12 or 13 years ago we had that first meeting at Lloyd Companies, and then worked hard to pitch this idea of having an interchange here at 85th Street. So it's very exciting for me for a couple of reasons. On behalf of the Development Foundation, I'd like to thank the partners in this, the landowners group who contributed the first $4 million towards this project. We paid for the first $4 million worth of design work that got us almost all the way through the design. And landowners also cooperated in making sure that we didn't hold things up, arguing over right-of-way payments and those types of things. We all got our right-of-way worked out, settled with the city in quick fashion, and got that done. I want to thank the cities of Sioux Falls and the city of T and Lincoln County. They've done a lot of work already on this project. They've committed millions of dollars to build out the infrastructure that was required to be built out before we could put this interchange in. So when you go out to Tallgrass and 85th Street and you see that beautiful new intersection there, that is all what was required to get us to this point in time. T did the same on the west side at Sundowner and 85th, and so thank you. And then Jim Schmidt initially said, well, Lincoln County will come up with $15 million, and we all thought, what are the chances of that? Well, he got it done, so good for him. The state DOT has been great working through this with us, and Federal Highway, and Senator Thune, thank you for securing the financing to make this happen. So I just want to congratulate everyone. This is going to connect the city of T and the city of Sioux Falls like never before, and I predict that this area here at this interchange will be the fastest developing land in Sioux Falls once this interchange welcomes. So congratulations to Sioux Falls, to T, and the state of South Dakota. And with that, I think Joel Dykstra has a few words for the landowners group.
Well, thank you all, and welcome to Sage Meadow Apartments. For a brief commercial announcement, for anybody who wants a tour, we have staff here from Real Property Management who are our property management partner, and they'll be around for as long as you like. But I just want to just expand just a little bit on the role of these 6 developers who really stepped up on this project and made a serious contribution and a serious difference. It's clear, as we've said, working with Mark Cotter closely and his staff at the City of Sioux Falls, clearly the City of Sioux Falls had to do a lot to get this project to this point. They are responsible, I think, for the completion and the ability of this project to get done. Secretary Johnson, the South Dakota DOT, has done tremendous work to get this far, and they will be carrying the ball to the finish line, and we're pleased to have worked with them. Senator Thune, providing that key federal funding is absolutely required for this project to get finished. City of T and Lincoln County have done their parts, but there's these 6 developers who I think are responsible for this project getting started. We stepped up in the beginning, 6 companies. Lloyd Companies, as we've talked about, Craig Lloyd had an instrumental role in getting it started. Bentwood Place, which is the Benson family. Tallgrass Investments, which is the Haig companies. Sonder Properties, which is Cutler and Benson. Sundowner Investments, which is Dan Lemmy, who's responsible for that development that you can actually see stuff happening on over there. And then R&B Associates, which is Rob Broyne and his family. And those 6 parties, those 6 companies, stepped up, made a commitment to provide the first $4 million in actual cash to get this project moving. And I think the most amazing part of this, and what somebody's senior thesis should be about someday, is how it's possible that 6 individual private companies stepped up, made a commitment, and without benefit of legal contract or anything but their word and their handshake, have made payments and have basically paid invoices on an every month basis for the last 10 years. Not one has missed. So thank you to those private companies that invested in Sioux Falls and invested in this area and invested in the development of 85th and I-29. And thank you for coming out today to celebrate.
Again, thank you all for coming out today. It's been a great event that we're going to be able to go out and dig some shovels. And again, a lot of pressure on my staff now that we're going to administer this project when it's all said and done with T&R. They've been a great contractor and done a lot of work here in Sioux Falls and done very quality work. I would be remiss if I didn't at least acknowledge SCH. They were the consultant that got this work done to the preliminary design and engineering was all said and done with. But again, thanks for coming out.